is a very significant report concerning the air loss that we spoke of about a week ago in the International Space Station Soyuz, the Russian aircraft. Well, it seems that the Russians are claiming that it's foul play. They say sabotage has been done in space. Russia says the drilling damage on the Soyuz ship is the result of foul play. This is a stunning comment coming from the Russian government sources saying that their Soyuz spacecraft currently docked at the International Space Station in fact may have been purposely sabotaged. Purposely sabotaged after alarming new traces of what appears to be drilling having been found, which are significantly more extensive than previously thought. Now, this is really a very strange all right, that's a strange development. This is what can I say? Who would want to do this? The statements point to the sabotage likely occurring on the Soyuz MS-09 craft during pre-launch or possibly while it was even in orbit. How is that possible? Anyway, let's go on to the article. Russia is in the middle of a full investigation after it admitted early today, Friday, that the damage is more extensive than what was estimated previously. The damage to the Soyuz craft first uncovered late August while it was anchored to the ISS space station. It alarmed the engineers and raised suspicion of foul play. It was possibly the first thought remote, but the air leak was initially thought to be the result of a micrometeorite. Remember, we said, oh, something tiny, a tiny speck of rock from a micrometeorite probably collided with the vessel. That's what caused the tiny hole, and that's what caused the air leak that they had to plug up first with a tape and then with glue. And, that was a temporary makeshift solution. What happens when the Soyuz comes back to Earth? How can it come back with the metal being compromised like that? So, okay, they had the air leak, but the air leak was initially thought to be the result of the micrometeorite colliding with the vessel. And on opening investigation, someone described in Russian media as a reckless assembly worker was reported to have made a manufacturing error that might have had a big impact once in space. But the Russian space program told TASS news agency this: there are drilling traces not only inside the living module of the ISS, but also on anti-meteorite plates. Okay, so the Soyuz is fitted with anti-meteorite plates, so the little tiny the meteorites cannot pass through it. So there was drilling inside these plates as well. The one who made the hole in the hull passed straight through it, and the drill head hit external non-hermetic protection. This is what the source explained. The top of the drill came through the pressure hull and hit the non-gas tight outer shell. Now, reports suggest the tiny drill hole first discovered in August could have been improperly sealed the first time and through negligence never properly attended to. Per state media source RT, this is what they were citing officials saying, quote, the makeshift sealant held for at least the 2 months the Soyuz spacecraft spent in orbit before finally drying up and being pushed out of the hole by air pressure. The ISS crew had noticed the drop of pressure in late August, end quote. And that's when we heard of it, the air loss from the little tiny hole believed to have been made by the micrometeorite. Well, obviously, this is not the case. The rapid depressurization reported set off an alarm at that time, sending the entire crew to evacuate the Russian wing of the ISS, which involved locking down modules behind them, and further details of the hole's location. And this is what the state sources said. The hole was located near the toilet and covered by decorative fabric. Using an ordinary toothbrush and an endoscope, they found that only one of the 2-millimeter cracks had actually pierced the hull and was leaking air. Crew members later were able to use an epoxy-based sealant with metallic additives to plug this hole while guided by mission control. Dmitry Rogozin, who is the head of the Russian Space Agency, reportedly has been engaged in phone talks concerning the problem with NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine. Yet Rogozin, considered close to Russian President Vladimir Putin, turned heads by saying he still considers the possibility of sabotage a distinct possibility. This is what Rogozin asked. What was it? A defect or some intentional acts? Where were these acts carried out? On the Earth or already when Soyuz was in orbit? And he controversially emphasized, yet again I am saying we are not dismissing anything. God forbid that sabotage is taking place in space, on space missions. I mean, what are you doing? Carrying your Earth politics up in space? God forbid. Let's just, scrap the whole space program then. I mean, why don't you just keep everything down here? Why take it in space? If you're going to take... This is very sad. This is very sad. Anyway, this is on Zero Hedge. And now there are currently 3 American astronauts on the ISS space station, 2 Russians and a German aboard the International Space Station. Now, a few days ago, the Russians did come out with a statement saying that they struck out the theory that space debris or micrometeorite was the cause of the hole that led to the air leak in the Soyuz crew ferry ship that was docked at the International Space Station. They said that the result of the hole was a drill. It was purposely drilled into the wall of the spacecraft's upper compartment, an apparent case of human error. They say the hole was discovered and patched, as we said, over about 2 weeks ago. And according to Russian media accounts, Dmitry Rogozin, the Director General of the Russian Space Agency Roscosmos, told reporters that the hole was drilled, quote, by a human hand, end quote, and that he was not ruling out any theory saying it could have happened on the ground before launch or even after the spacecraft reached orbit in June 6th. Known for controversial comments and tweets, Rogozin, who is a former deputy prime minister who was sanctioned by the Obama administration in the wake of Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea, he did not address why an astronaut or a cosmonaut might do such a thing, given the obvious danger to the space station and its 6-member crew. Rogozin said, "We are considering all the theories." He said the one about a meteor impact has been rejected because the spaceship's hull was evidently impacted from inside. So the hole wasn't made from outside going in, it was from inside going out. He said it was too early to come to a conclusion. He says it seems to be done by a faltering hand. It was done by a human hand, and there are traces of a drill sliding along the surface. We don't reject any theories. This is bad. Sputnik International, another Russian news site, reported that RSC Energia is carrying out detailed inspections of all Soyuz and Progress supply ships now being prepared for launch to look for any similar problems. The leak was discovered when sensors aboard the space station detected a slow loss of cabin air pressure. I mean, this is really bad. The spacecraft rocketed into orbit June 6, carrying cosmonaut Sergei Prokopyev, European Space Agency astronaut Alexander Gertz, that's the German, and NASA flight engineer Serena Unon, Chancellor, to the space station. I'll leave links below for you for this.